Oh, nice.
Mm. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Karen Curitan here, social media trainer and coach. And today, as you'll see, I'm joined by the lovely Charlie. Good afternoon, Charlie.
Hey, Karen, thanks for having me.
It's lovely to see you today. And I don't know about you, but it's a blooming miserable day here up in the East
It's
Midlands. It's so
horrible,
awful.
isn't it?
But the risk of sounding my beloved mother, it's good for the garden.
Oh, yeah, one positive. It's not good for me and the dog this morning. We got soaked.
No, it wasn't very good for me at 5 to 6 when I left to go to my breakfast networking, which wasn't
Oh,
fun. So yeah, that wasn't great. So today we're here to talk about marketing made simple, but let's first of all, I thought just get everybody a little bit of an idea of who you are. We met through the Athena network because you were a
did,
member of
yes.
Athena,
Mhm.
which is a professional business women's network, and it's incredible. It's gone international now. It's quite
Fabulous.
shocking, really. Quite
Mm.
shocking. But Charlie, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you do, who you work with?
Yes, so thanks for having me, Karen. I love having a chat with you as well. This is going to be great. What do I do? What's why? Well, what I did do was 20 years in corporate marketing. And I loved it. I worked for film, TV, retail, electronics. I did all sorts of mad stuff. And once you kind of understand marketing, you can market. I used to market compost, then I marketed smartphones. I marketed every Lord of the Rings film. You can do once you can do one, you can do everything. And I absolutely loved my corporate days. But then I got a little bit, I wouldn't say fed up. I'm more frustrated of just like, hold on a minute, I'm making these white middle-aged men richer every day, and I'm not feeling the love here. And it was honestly a light bulb moment. I didn't hate it, but now I look back, it was probably kind of toxic, very, very male-dominated industries. But I
Mm.
love marketing. And I love female empowerment. I didn't realize what that was. I didn't, that word wasn't bandied around like 5-ish years ago. And I was just like, how do I join them together? And almost overnight, I went, I'm going to start my own business. Never wanted to do that before. I always wanted, corporate world, corporate salary, big job, big, kind of ideas. And it just hit me of like, oh, if I can join marketing and female empowerment together, that's what I want to do. And that's what I do now every day, which is absolutely amazing. So I work with brilliant, brilliant women. I didn't really have a niche until my niche found me, actually.
I think that's
When I
often the
started my
case, though.
business, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I want
Mine
to work with
found
women in
me.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you kind of think, oh, I know, women in business, and it's quite broad. But I then went, hold on a minute, and after probably about 18 months of my setting up my business, I looked at all of my clients, and they all had something in common, something worldly conscious or health conscious or kind of just looking after the planet or the body. And I hit
Mm.
my 40s and went, oh God, one body, one planet, kind of need to look after these things. And I really am into health and fitness and wellness and sustainability. And all my clients were. And I've never said that out loud to anyone, but they all had something like a yoga teacher or a sustainable fashion stylist or a recycled jewelry maker. Like they were all doing something, giving back and being. So that's it. That's my niche, is women in wellness and sustainability who are doing amazing things, really, really good things. And they just need to get that message out to the world. And that's where I come in, is help them shout about their amazing services that they're passionate about, but sometimes go, oh, I have to do my marketing. And you're like, no, the marketing's a fun bit, the bit where we get to go, this is
No.
my stuff, this is it. So
But
that's what I
don't
do
you
now
think?
every day.
But don't you think that for a lot of, and I hate to say it, and I can say it because we're two women shooting the breeze, chatting,
Mm.
is that a lot of women think marketing is a bit of a dirty word, a bit of a scary subject. You recently did a
Yes.
session in my membership, which was
Mm.
absolutely brilliant. And we're going to touch on some of those topics today, which is a lot of people are either overwhelmed by the idea of
Mm-hmm.
marketing their businesses. They think they have to
Yep.
be every woman everywhere, which of
Mm-hmm.
course we both know you don't have
Yeah.
to be. And I mean, we were just having the whole conversation about websites. There's lots of
Mm.
ways you can have a presence without necessarily having a super expensive website.
Yep.
So I think a lot of women are, I don't know whether it's because as women, we're usually not frightened or have the ego that stops us saying how we feel. I think
Mm.
that could
Interesting.
be it,
Yeah.
is that there's a lot of women that I meet who I would like to think, just don't have that ego. And
Mhm.
as a result, they're, you know, I had a client yesterday, perfect example, absolutely wonderful businesswoman. Let's call her Mandy. Let's call her Mandy.
Mhm.
She'd gone live on Facebook. She'd felt the fear and did it, because I've been challenging her for months. She said, "Oh, it
Good.
didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't work." I said, "Yes, it did. I saw you, Mandy. I saw you on live. I saw it and I commented. No, I couldn't see it." And she hadn't realized where she had to be to see it. But
Oh,
she
right.
was honest enough. So I ended up grabbing my phone and doing a spontaneous little recording for her to send her it. So she knew that she was doing it right. But she was honest enough and open enough to accept that actually she needed some help.
Mm.
And that's where you come in. So your whole ethos is around simplifying things.
Yes.
Do you want to share some more thoughts around that and why you think that's the case, Charlie?
Jan, it's really is. It's from both of my corporate days and from now. It's just the minute I set my business up, and I've now got a different. I'm a woman running a business. I used to be a woman in a massive corporate company, marketing those businesses with huge budgets and things like. And that, the noise and the ferociousness of the internet and the world was a good thing for that corporate side. Then you step into a woman running a business on the internet that is so loud, is so shouty, and everyone is giving you advice. Everyone is giving you the best advice, isn't it? Yeah, join my course, do my program, don't my thing, all of that, and you just don't know where to start. And it was almost instant. I was like, it doesn't have to be like this. It really doesn't have to be like this. From my corporate experience, God, there's some mess that I have come from. But I'm working for some of the biggest brands in the world. They do not have all their stuff together. You think they do, and you'll recognise some of the big logos that I've worked for. On the inside, they're an absolute mess, but they carry on anyway because they've got the teams and the support and things. But as a woman on your own running the business, it's so hard, and all of that noise is so much for you. And it just hit me of like, I have to simplify this to people, or I have to tell people it doesn't have to be that complicated. Not being on every single platform is okay. Not having a website is okay. Not showing up or wanting to show yourself on video is okay. It's just like you get to do the thing that you want to do instead of going, well, her over there's looking good. She's did a live on LinkedIn. I need to do that next. You have then that copying of things, I think, is really getting people. So I just want to make sure that people understand that really simplifying, less platforms, less noise, less content, less stress, less hustle is a good thing. And I think actually interesting what you said about Mandy and her kind of thing is when we say things don't work, we're measuring the wrong things. You can measure every single element of marketing. I know exactly. You can measure public speaking gigs. You can measure, email sends. Everything has got a number. You can add it, but we're looking at the wrong ones. We're looking at likes. We're looking at followers. We're looking at those things that we think, because we can see it in the bottom of the corner of the screen or our phones. We think that's important. If you have 1 million likes on a post doesn't mean you've got £1 million in the bank. It doesn't equate to the things that are important. And it's just because you've got 1 million followers. Does that mean you're the most successful person in your industry? No, but if you're measuring, how many people engaged, how many people are talking to me, there's so many other measurements. And I think that's the thing is like my two things are simplify and measure properly. And then
And that
once you
is
get
so
that,
true. That is so
isn't it?
true. Because just to share a really quick story, I was on Twitter back in the day when it was a good place to hang out 15 years ago. And I know. And that man ruined it. And
Yes.
I took a difficult decision in April to basically stop all activity on Twitter. My Twitter now profile says this account is no longer active. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. But there's a classic metric for you. I had over 7,000 followers on Twitter. 7,000. How much money did that vanity metric earn me last year? £52. £52. So, I'll often talk like that's why you and I get on so well, is I'll talk about these numbers as vanity metrics. Is you don't have to have thousands and thousands of people in your audience. You have to have the right people that you can then connect with.
Yeah,
Makes such a
definitely. I think
difference,
that's
doesn't
it.
it?
It's when you think about that, when you try now. So I'm running a 3-day challenge this week in my little world. The first time I've done it, and one of my main points is just making sure that you're not talking to everyone. You're trying to talk to the right person, because we say more platforms, more places, more posts, more content, more stuff, and you're like, okay, you've peppered the whole internet with your whole all of what you're messaging. Is it working? What is it happening? Have the right people gone, do you know what, she's for me, I want her services? Or are you
Yeah,
talking in a beige vanilla way that goes over everyone's head and it doesn't stick? But if you just talk to one person, one really, really ideal client, and they go, oh my God, where do I sign? Where do I buy? How do I get her thing? That's
yeah.
better than talking to hundreds of people that message doesn't land and goes over, totally over them.
I know. And that's the crazy thing though, isn't it? Is that
More
you
is
have
more. No.
to it's like watching something on the TV and going, I'm not the target audience.
Mm.
That's the
Yeah.
thing that we need to forget, is that it doesn't have to be for us. It has to
Definitely
be
not.
for the right people rather than just
Mm.
anybody. Like when you meet people. So there's a lady at my breakfast group, and she's a will writer. So in essence, her perfect client is anybody who's currently breathing.
Yeah.
But actually, it would make her marketing simpler and easier if she narrowed it down into specific
Mm.
areas that she wants to focus
People.
in. Because at the moment, she's sort
Too
of got
broad.
this
Mm.
scattergun, wide, broad brush approach. And I
Mm.
think that's the thing from when you did your session for my members, was it was really clear, is that, I think we like new and shiny, but we're
Oh
not
yeah,
very
you definitely
good
do.
at taking. So if you had some tips to share with somebody about really streamlining the marketing,
Mm.
what would you suggest would be their priorities?
Okay, get selfish. Now, I'm trying to
Mm.
rebrand this word selfish because it gets a bit of a negative love. And it's like, no, we need to be more selfish. We need to be more self-absorbed, reflective, because we need to talk about us first. As a woman running a business, this is my whole business you've got here, and my dog, and that's it. It's all about us. So you really need to focus on you first, making sure you're happy, make sure you're comfortable. If you're spreading yourself too thin on platforms you don't like showing up on, you don't love, but you feel like you should, no, stop that instantly. As of now, this second, 5th of June, whatever it is. Make sure you do the thing you love, because you will show up differently. If you think, oh, I need to be on Instagram, I need to do reels, I need to do this thing, and it's been working for your business, but you still don't love it, find a place, a thing, and it doesn't always have to be social media. I mean, we've talked about this, and I know you're a social media trainer, but there's other marketing. But if you absolutely love networking, and I do, I do, then that's your thing. Show up 100% and network. That's the thing. Find the thing you love first, would be my biggest tip, and then you show up in such a different way instead of that force thing. Or you might put a playlist on and feel a bit, you jump around and you have some energy, but you still do the thing that you don't actually enjoy, instead of going, I'm going to go to 3 networking events this month and I'm going to talk to as many people as I can. Instead of forcing yourself on Instagram because you don't want to show up on Instagram, do the thing you love, would be my first top tip, definitely, and work from there.
I think
Oh,
what's
I've
really
lost.
important is, oh, we had a bit of a connection issue
Bit
there.
of a
Joys of
blip.
technology. I think the challenge is that sometimes we feel as though we have to push ourselves. So we were just
Mm-hmm.
chatting about ManyChat, and I was
Yeah.
looking at that and thinking some of the functionality I think is really clever. But is it actually absolutely a must-have for my business? Do I love it? Probably not, because it doesn't sit with my values. And I think as
Yeah.
business owners and as women in business, we have to be, like you say, to be selfish, or I try and use the words cautious about what
Okay.
I'm trying to do, and using my time and energy and my
Mm.
budget as well. Because what I first try and think about is this a strategy that's going to get me nearer to connecting or building relationships with my perfect client?
Mm-hmm.
Is this
Yep.
something that's within my financial budget? And can I measure
Mm.
it? Can I
Yes.
measure it? It was like I I had a small stand at an exhibition 2 weeks ago, a really great exhibition. And my husband said to me, "How do you measure return on investment? You can tell he works in sales." And I said, "Well, I put a QR code on my banner, which is only the QR code is only used for that banner. So the banner is only people who've seen the banner will scan that QR code." I said, like the flyers that I have, the QR code on there is connected to my area. And so I know that anybody that's scanned the QR code on a flyer or on a banner to book a chat, really easy to monitor, to check and see if it's monetized itself, because I can see where that inquiries come from.
Yeah,
And I think that's
it's a really good
important.
point. Yeah, I think I've a previous client who is really good at public speaking, and she goes to events and she's absolutely fabulous. And she said, "But you can't measure it, can you?" And I was like, "You can measure everything." And I said, "What are you measuring?" And she went to an event. She came back and went, "Oh, I've measured, I've measured." I said, "What have you got?" She went, "I know there was this many people turned up to the event," because she got the details from the event organizer. I was like, "Yeah, that's total, footfall." She's like, "Yeah, okay." And this many, there was two. She had two metrics. Was that, and there was something else, I think. How many emails were sent by the event company? I was like, these are great big numbers, and that's how sometimes they get you to events, because they'll say, we're going to have 10,000 people through the door, and we're going to send an email to our database of X many people. And she was like, "Isn't it great?" And I said, "What's your measurements?" She was like, "Me?" And I said, "Right, next event." And she was signed up to speak at their event a few months later. I said, "You're speaking. I want to know how many people are in the room," because she was in a private room. I also want her to set herself, and I asked her to set herself a target of, from that talk, I want you to get 10 people signed up on your email list, not their email list, your email list. So she had a QR code that she could scan. And she said at the end of my talk, this was a thing. She did a competition as well, which was good. There was, she got a return on investment because she went to that event. She got 10 people on her email. She got more than 10 people on her email list. And, he's got something for her. So many people say to me, "Oh, yeah, I go to events," or I did a great talk. And I was like, that's, or I go to a networking event. I was like, bad coffee, bad use of your time. You go to these events, the coffee's rubbish. I'm a total coffee snob. And then you kind of go, "Well, I had a nice chat with some women." You're like, "Okay, what do you get from it?" "Well, I had a nice chat with some women." I was like, "Well, that is not a good use of your time. You could have been doing something else." If you go to those events and say, "I want to meet 3 women I've never met before. I want to have 2 1-to-1s by the end of that meeting. I want to get good coffee, and I want to be able to pitch myself as a speaker at their next event." Like, everything is measurable, and you've got to really push yourself. And I know what you mean, you outside your comfort zone to some degree, but you've got to make sure the time you're spending is really valuable and really useful. And I think that's the thing with social has all of these measurements, but speaking gigs and networking and things like that, those things are really, really important. And if you've got to make sure you're measuring them and make sure that you are getting a return on your investment, I totally agree with your husband.
Yeah, but it's true. It's true, because when I look at where I'm spending my money for my business to market my business, so I instantly said, because I knew it was good, because I also was a speaker at the event. So
Nice.
I immediately said to them, "I'd like to come next year if you'll have me," straight away, because I want to be first on the list and have a good spot. And, then I can start and plan how I can get even more. But that's the thing with any sort of marketing is when it's your own business, you've got to do the stuff that you love. Like you say, it's so important, so important. So just to sort of wrap up, because we've gone over longer than I even said we were, which is always the case. How can people work with you then, Charlie? If people want to connect with you here on LinkedIn, and how's the best way for them to work with you?
Yeah, definitely come and find me on LinkedIn. I am here all day, every day. It feels like I probably spend a bit too much time on LinkedIn, but I love it. And this is, and do give you a tiny little story. When I left the corporate world, I didn't unfollow any of my corporate friends and any of my colleagues. And now I don't see any of them at all in my feed. So people go, "Oh, LinkedIn's a bit corporate and it's a bit, it's not for me," or "I'm a hairdresser, I can't go on LinkedIn." Yeah, you can. There's people on LinkedIn with hair. They need haircuts. Like, I don't think people understand sometimes it's the right place. But now my feed is absolutely full of amazing, beautiful people that I absolutely loved LinkedIn. I didn't love it a few years ago. It was all corporate rubbish and people celebrating jobs they didn't care about. And it's like, no. So I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. So come and follow me here. Connect with me, comments. I would love to have a chat. And at the moment, I'm working on a few things. I know generally work on one-to-one basis, and I can do a quick, super short audit of like, let's come in, get your marketing sorted, let's have a quick look, and we do that, or we can do a 3-month or a 6-month longer program. But yeah, happy to have a chat and make things bespoke for you, but simpler. I promise it will be simpler and more fun. Actually, I always ask this question when people start working with me: give me 3 words to describe your marketing, and some of the words I get pretty, believe me. So it's not. At the end of working with me, I always ask the same question: give me 3 words to tell me about your marketing now. And it's so much more vibrant, exciting, and positive, and and it can be positive, it can be exciting. You just got to do it the right way, in the way that works for you. So yeah, that's me.
Well, Charlie, that is wonderful, and I will reshare this onto my page later in the day. Charlie, thank you so much for giving up your lunchtime, and I will speak to you very soon.
Thanks very much, Karen. See you soon.
See you later.